जैसा प्रॉमिस किया था ऑल दैट ब्रीज के बाद अब हम द एलिफेंट विस्परर्स के बारे में भी बात कर रहे हैं। इंडिया की एक और ऑस्कर नॉमिनेटेड डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म, ये शॉर्ट डॉक कैटेगरी में नॉमिनेटेड है। इट इज 40 मिनट्स लॉन्ग एंड इज स्ट्रीमिंग ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स, देखने के लिए अवेलेबल है। ऑल दैट ब्रीज को तो भी आने में भी टाइम है। मूवी के डायरेक्टर है कार्तिकी गोंसाल्वेस जो लॉस एंजलिस में है ऑलरेडी, और प्रोड्यूसर है गुनीत मोंगा जिनको हमने मुंबई में पकड़ लिया। तो आधा इंटरव्यू हुआ है जूम पर और आधा इंटरव्यू सोफे पर कॉफी पीते पीते। तो बैक एंड फोर्थ करते रहेंगे। अब घबराना नहीं, पूरा देखो एंड तक, इट्स रियली नाइस। माय नेम इज सुचारिता, शुरू करते हैं।
हाय हाय, नहीं मैंने बुलाया।
चलो शुरू करें गुनीत।
हाँ।
Welcome to my channel, Oscar-nominated filmmaker Kartiki Gonsalves. I can't get enough of this. I'm calling you Oscar-nominated. I'm calling Shaunak Sen Oscar-nominated. Guneet Monga is Oscar-nominated. What a great time to be an Indian filmmaker right now. No?
It's absolutely amazing, and it's my pleasure to be with you here now. And yeah, how are you doing?
I am great, Kartiki. Doesn't matter how I'm doing. How are you doing? Has it finally? I know you've been in the US with the film doing screening and things like that for like what, over a month now? You've been there for a while?
I've been here for quite a long time now. Yes, I came here in December. I've been here 3 months now.
Oscar-nominated documentary producer Guneet Monga, film producer Guneet Monga, but Oscar-nominated for a documentary film.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here on your channel. It's been a little dream. When will I come on your channel?
Nonsense. Full nonsense.
No.
And this is Bagheera for those who can see him. If you can't see him, he'll probably make an appearance at some point. We're in the Sikha office right now. Kartiki Gonsalves,
Yeah.
the director of this incredible The Elephant Whisperers,
Absolutely.
40-minute movie. I will speak with her also, उनसे भी बात करेंगे हम. But आपको कार्तिकी कहाँ मिली? How did this start? Because she's not someone who's in your immediate circle of filmmakers.
Kartiki found this story.
Right.
And and the place, the Madhulai Reserve, is like near to her house. And she discovered this story and was very moved by it. And it started with Kartiki becoming friends with Raghu.
Simple words, I fell in love with Raghu. It really just all began there. And I think during this time, there are so many stories of animals being killed and species dying out. And then there's a positive story that highlights the beauty of man and animal working together. So I just believe coexistence is the way that we really need to move forward with into the future. And I think that's only possible through mutual respect and cooperation that we can attempt to save the planet. So basically, it all started as a personal interaction. This happened way back in 2017. So I think coming back to that, I just wanted to really get people to relate to elephants, because I think elephants share many human traits, and I think that was the key. So it just all began as I was driving on my way and I saw Bomman and Raghu walking on the side of the road, and Bomman beckoned to me to come. So I was literally hanging out of my car and I saw he beckoned to me. So I was like, wow, that's such a tiny calf. I didn't even think. I pulled my car over to the left, jumped out and went and joined them.
Oh my God.
And at that point, I had no intentions of making a documentary. It was just me spending time in a forest I knew in and out of, because I grew up in Ooty in the Nilgiris. And this elephant camp is exactly half an hour from where I live. So it was home turf for me in many ways. And I just noticed that Bomman and Raghu, we'd gone to the river for this bath, and Raghu was splashing around. Elephant calves at that age just don't know how to use their trunks. And he was just splashing around in water.
So
he was
cute.
a beautiful thing. And I noticed this very beautiful bond between Raghu and Bomman. It seemed like they just needed each other in so many ways. It was very special. And so I think that's what really began. And soon after I met Raghu. So I just spent so much time before I actually really picked up the camera. And it was just about understanding them and spending time as a human being, just enjoying time with Bomman and Raghu.
She's an incredibly amazing wildlife photographer.
Yeah, I've read about that.
So she then started shooting, and kind of a year later put together a sizzle reel or a trailer that then went to Netflix. And the Netflix doc team at that time was in Singapore with Alok Devichand and Raghav Khanna, and they saw it, loved it, and reached out to me to be able to produce it with Kartiki. And when I asked her, I remember and meeting her, and she's like, yeah, you were on my wish list, you know.
That's so sweet.
I wanted to work with you, and I was like, oh my God, I want to work with you, you know. So here was this amazing young female filmmaker, and also so purist, and the gorgeousness of her visuals is so strong. She'd worked a year or two before I came on board.
On The Elephant Whisperers?
No, on just discovering the story. Okay. Yes, and then that did become The Elephant Whisperers. So I've been on this for 3.5 years.
That's amazing. And wow.
Yeah, so Kartiki's journey has been longer.
You know, like, I know it seems like suddenly it has happened, but like I was talking to Shaunak also about All That Breathes, and his journey was also 3 years.
Yeah.
He shot that film over 3 years and then edit and everything, and now it's seeing that international acclaim that film has seen.
I think Verite documentary where you're following real people and there's no script. You're hoping.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you're hoping for something, how this will evolve, you're observing, you're observers of life.
Yeah.
And their life cannot be put together in a 30-day schedule.
Yeah.
So it happens.
You never know what you're going to get.
Every day it's the same schedule. Raghu has the same schedule. He'll go to bath, they'll eat, they'll sleep, they'll play.
So much patience you need as a filmmaker also.
Yes, documentary, Verite filmmaking is a far longer process.
Yeah. Than any other kind
than
of
fiction, like where you've written a story, everything is in your control, and you have actors who are emoting. Here we have Raghu.
Raghu must have become a star, local star now.
Raghu has become a full-on elephant star. Raghu and Ammu are just killing it. People are trying to see them, and Bomman is very strict. He's like, no selfies with elephants. He's like, no selfies.
Why?
Because he really wants to. Because at the end of the day, an elephant is a wild animal, and he doesn't want to encourage that. And
I don't want to disturb them. Yeah.
It's so special that he's really taking a stand for what is right and what's wrong. It's very beautiful to see that. And I heard it on one interview with Sun TV or something. He's like, no selfies. And I'm like, wow.
Go, Bomman. This is the question I ask all documentary filmmakers I have the good fortune of talking to. How many hours of footage did you have then finally when you sat down to edit? Because her documentary film ko banne mein saalon, like years and years and years of like shoot, especially when you're working with animals. And Shaunak Sen also said this to me when I was talking to him about his film, All That Breathes. He's like, you never know when a bird is going to give you a shot. So how many hours of footage do you have?
We had 450 hours and we made a 40-minute film. And birds, you can still tell they're going to come, but elephants, you never know.
Elephants have a mind of their own and a whole different...
It's a whole different ball game. A bird and an elephant are very different. So, we had literally Ammu, there were moments where Ammu would just come and she'd want to cuddle instead of be on camera. She will come and put her stuff around.
How do you make a 40-minute film? Why did you choose to make a 40-minute film out of the 450 hours and why not a feature length?
So I think that was a decision that basically came at a much later stage. We obviously 450 hours. And I think it comes down to the point of what is your point that you're trying to put out in the message of the film. And it really goes back to how can you possibly tell the strongest version of the story? And for me, we did capture human-animal conflict. We captured a lot of natural history. We captured wild tigers, wild elephants. We captured other elephant calves in the wild. So we had a lot of footage during this period of time. And then we also went down the conventional route of talking to scientists. We spoke to scientists. We had all of that on camera. But when it came to the edit table, from the very moment when I first began this movie, the core idea was to document the sacred bond between man and animal. And till the very end, it was that. So everything that was not that, it was easy to go through the 450 hours because we literally just took out the parts that depict the sacred bond between man and animal. We took out everything else. And I think that was the core idea. I know some people say that documentary filmmakers need to follow the process, go the flow, which we did all of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would break one of the core documentary rules that if you have an idea that you start with and you finish with it, that means you didn't really do documentary. But I would go against that and question that because the idea was so strong, but still gave us so much room to work around that we still had the very same message at the very end, 6 years down the line.
Now, I want to talk to you about the Oscars. Because now you understand the process. I'm not going to say that Guneet Monga ke paas sare answers hain because all of this is very mysterious. But you still know how this process works. So talk to me about bringing the Elephant Whisperers to this point that now it's nominated at the Oscars.
Yes. So a short documentary, what we have to do is we have to apply for festivals. And there are all these Oscar qualifying festivals. This information
around
is
the
public. Yes. A lot of them are in US also. you have to stand out, break out, or win an award, or be in a number of Oscar qualifying festivals.
Okay.
To then be able to apply for Academy submission.
Okay.
So we filled up our form. We were in Doc NYC, and then we filled up our form.
This is all happening in 2021.
No, now.
2022. 2022. मेरे दिमाग में 23 भी start ही नहीं हुआ है. 2022.
2022. And we got into an Oscar qualifying festival, and then we applied, and I went to go get married.
Congrats.
And thanks. And then I was in my honeymoon.
Yes.
And only then we realized that we were shortlisted, you know. So the process of, so of course one can apply, but the shortlist is something that Academy does, and there is a team that sees and watches.
So that team at the Academy is watching all the submissions in all the Oscar
Yes.
qualifying.
Yes.
My goodness, that's
Yes.
thousands and thousands of movies.
Yeah, I don't know the number of that.
I imagine.
But it's also the films that win, it's the films that stand
That
out.
are making some
So
sort
there
of
is there is a sort
noise,
of a
yeah.
route of elimination. So it's not just, at least in the short doc category, where a shortlist comes. In a lot of categories, the shortlist does not come. Like in the best film category.
Correct.
In
Best
the
director category.
Best director,
The big
actor,
ones,
actress
yeah.
category.
Yeah.
That anybody can submit.
Yeah.
You know, and that is what, there's a process of just submitting. There are rules to that where it is, you have to do a 7-day release in theatrical release,
Yeah.
and be able to do like a, there are some points to meet.
वो दूसरी category.
हाँ वो दूसरी कैटेगरी जिनका शॉर्टलिस्ट नहीं आता है. From shortlist, our shortlist came on 21st of December this year.
Yeah.
And from shortlist you have to go to a nomination. So shortlist is top 15.
Yes.
So from 15 you go to a top 5.
Yeah.
And in that time, that came on 21st of December, and the nomination came on 24th of January. That 1 month, only the docu-voters of the Academy can vote.
Right.
So there is a branch. So there are all these branches in the Academy, like the acting branch, or the costume department branch, or the production design, hair, makeup,
Yeah.
VFX. Producers are in the best film branch.
Yeah.
And then there is a documentary branch. I am in the producers branch.
Right.
And I get access to best films in short film, animation category, and feature films.
Yeah.
But not the documentaries. So I don't get to vote on that. Only the documentary branch members can vote from nomination to, from shortlist to nomination. So the journey from top 15 to top 5 is that the branch members need to see and say, okay, this is good and this should be in top 5. It's a pure voting process online. Then a nomination list comes, which is top 5. For us, I am very grateful to be on the shortlist.
Yeah.
Extremely grateful to be on the nomination amongst the top 5 in the
Yeah.
world. It's a big deal, definitely for us. And I'm just very excited to now go represent the country, represent the film, represent this beautiful community.
Yeah. And Raghu?
And blessings of Raghu and Ammu. I think
Yeah.
more than anything, we are chosen as filmmakers, I think, from Raghu and Ammu to tell their story.
Yeah.
You know?
So between the shortlist and the nomination, there's like anyone's guess that which film is going to get nominated depending on what the votes are coming. There's absolutely no way to know that.
Yeah.
But now that the nominations are out and the awards are going to be mid-March, what does the producer do until then? I know you are leaving to go to Los Angeles shortly. You're going to be there for a number of days. What does the producer do until between the nominations and the final award show?
So there's definitely a plan for us to be able to push our marketing. We are also, I think, incredibly lucky and I would say to be with Netflix on this journey. In fact, Period End of Sentence was also
A Netflix
Netflix.
film.
So I hope that the
Juju is still around.
The charm continues,
Yeah.
and the team continues. So, and we are able to repeat what
That
Period End of
moment.
Sentence win,
Yeah.
and Netflix combination. So in this case, we are guided by Netflix. They're years of experience. They're incredible publicists from around the world.
Yeah.
Also, what is amazing is that the film is on Netflix, which is literally like putting a hoarding on the moon.
Yeah.
You know, we are live in 190 countries. There are 223 million viewers around the world.
Yeah.
So just for a short documentary to have that kind of access, and with the nomination, of course, comes a lot of publicity and a lot of curiosity. So there's like fan art being sent to us from around the world.
How sweet.
You know, so even that feeling is so amazing that we are really putting stories of our land, of our country on a global map.
Yeah.
And Netflix has been able to do that, and they push it beautifully. So we've been, from Ecuador, from Spain, from Rome, from Mexico, people are writing, from Colombia. I had a message today morning, like, thank you. They find us, they find the filmmakers, they find us on Instagram,
Amitabh
on
Bachchan
Facebook.
has also done one post very nicely, very graciously.
Yeah.
Was that a shock to you, by the way?
Absolutely. I mean, Bachchan Saab, oh my God,
Like
thank you.
Amitabh Bachchan, like, please watch very sincerely. His posts are very sincere.
Yeah.
And very sincerely he has said, please go watch The
Yeah,
Elephant
yeah.
Whisperers.
I actually
Hashtag Guneet Monga he did. So sweet.
so kind. Thank you, sir.
Kutar mana aja? Ida ba? Berda? Ba ini. Ida ni ba?
It's more to do with the messages that are coming in, I would have to admit, because I'm meeting lots of wonderful people in the industry. And because this has been my debut, it's really been very special in that way. But I would definitely have to say that it's the beautiful messages and emails coming in from all across the globe. We've had people from Ukraine and Switzerland, New Zealand, Scotland, and Ireland, all these nice remote places.
Love it.
Compared to where we are, and they've just reached out with such beautiful, touching messages. We have a whole fan art base. We have children painting pictures.
I heard about this. It's like
on the
so
movie.
flattering.
It's absolutely beautiful.
They're
And it's been very special, just having people so connected and almost following this movie on such a deep level. That's been very
love it.
touching to see.
Yeah, and like Guneet says, having it on Netflix is like putting a hoarding on the moon. It's available to watch all over the world. Like hundreds of millions of people are watching.
Very special because I think it's been able to, since this is a movie that doesn't really have any borders and can really go the distance, I think it's a message that anyone can connect to, whether you're single or have a family. I think there are different aspects in the movie that really touch
different people.
Have the ability to touch people in many different ways.
Ida. Ba Ida. Filmanin. Ba Ida.
But I think there was a very bittersweet beginning to the story because the Asian elephant is definitely losing its habitat at a very rapid pace. And that's because of the encroachment and climate change in a country like India, which is so fast developing. Yeah. And one of the core things that I really wanted was to make the story positive. Yeah. And I focus on all the depressing parts when there's so much beauty and such an unusual family dynamic. And since Raghu's mother basically got electrocuted and died after her herd had wandered into the nearby village, it was basically due to a prolonged drought that they even had to go venturing into a village to look for food and water. Yeah. So it was just depressing and happening on a very frequent, it was happening very frequently in the place that is basically home and some place that I used to visit very frequently. I know Bomman and Bellie and Raghu and everybody else, they live very simple lives. They have an agenda on a daily basis. They go from point A to B to C, and then that's their day. But have they managed to comprehend what this film has done on an international level? The attention, have they received more attention? More people have reached out to them, and have they understood that this is now at the Oscars on the largest platform possible? That's a good question, because in their lives and living deep in the forests, they are very separated from everything else that's happening. So I speak to them very regularly off the phone because we've just become family now. They're family to me. And we speak all the time. And I also have been translating all the messages and beautiful emails and the images that have been coming in. And because I think that's the most important part, is letting them know how much their personal journey has touched people across the world. Yeah. And they're just overwhelmed. Bellie's almost in tears every time I speak to her. She's like, all this is happening and you're not here with us. And I feel really sad about that because I would have loved to be there with them during this time. For Bomman and Bellie, the two humans who are the lead characters of your documentary, so to speak, this is a twice over emotional experience. The Elephant Whisperers. Obviously, there's a story of their adopted elephant babies, Raghu and Amu, but it's also their love story, which was the surprising part of watching this film. I wasn't expecting a love story to turn up, and I wasn't expecting to see a wedding in the film, and that completely got me by surprise. And that's like so emotional. And so talk to me about capturing that. Did you know that these two were unwed and they might get married at some point, and then you want to be there with your camera when that happens? Yes. So initially, I mean, it was very evident that they were not married because things were very separate and all that. And then I just find it absolutely beautiful because they were live-in partners, but they were not actually married. So I think it is something that I could literally see developing as we went along. It was very evident while we were filming because it was just the sweetest thing. it's just like any relationship. There were moments they hated each other. There were moments they loved each other. And here we were just documenting it. In fact, there's one beautiful scene that we could not put in the movie, but Bowman had to fold clothes and Bellie's like, please fold the clothes. And Bowman's like, no, that's a lady's job. I'm not going to do it. And Bellie starts laughing. So it's very, it is so cute. The way that they express their love is just absolutely the sweetest thing. And we did, and I just wanted to put it out there that we just wanted to document it the way they show love instead of putting it in the way that people think people should be showing love.
Yeah, it was very, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was expecting to watch a movie about, human and wildlife and the relationship of the tribal communities share with the wildlife in the areas that they live in. That's also another layer that the film is exploring, the presence of the tribal communities in these areas, because along with the wildlife, the tribal communities are also struggling to continue to hold the place they occupy in those areas as well. So talk to me about that layer of the film.
The state of Tamil Nadu is very, very good at what they do. And I think they've done a beautiful job at incorporating Indigenous people.
Okay.
So basically in the Nilgiris itself, there are over 20 Indigenous communities that live there.
Gotcha.
You have the Malasas, you have the Kurumbas, you have the Katanayakas. So all of these just actually live in the heart of the forest. And I think when it comes to Bomman and Bellie, they come from the Katanayakan community.
Yeah.
And I think it's really special because they are a forest tribe that inhabit the heart of the forest of the Western Ghats. And their homeland falls over the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. And originally hunters and gatherers, there were a lot of these tribes that lived within the heart of the forest. So honey collection, looking after elephants was their primary type of work. So what happened is the forest department lets these people still live in the core of the forest, which is absolutely beautiful. They hire all of the people there and they let them continue doing their work within the forests. A lot of these Indigenous people actually are anti-poaching watchers with the forest department. A lot of people from the Malasa tribe and the Katanayakan tribe and the Kurumbas are all looking after elephants because they have such a deep, in-depth knowledge with the land, the landscape, and its inhabitants and other living creatures that they have coexisted with for centuries.
Yeah.
So they have the best knowledge, and this has been passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
I actually feel very spiritual. Like this film is a sacred bond.
Yeah.
There is a spiritual bond in this. I mean, it's animal in the wild. You can't predict. And this is a story about coexistence.
Yeah.
And that is what we are trying to say. It's not either or. It's not the animal world and the human world and the whole discourse that comes with it.
Yeah.
It is about everything, everywhere,
all at once. Maximum nominations this year, I think 11 nominations, I think. Almost a record.
What a beautiful film.
A great film.
Yeah.
But no, tell me, so now what is the plan until mid-March?
So we are working closely with the
Netflix team, yeah.
And we are being guided. And what I have also experienced previously, it's a bunch of interviews. We can do 4 screenings. There's a rule of 4 screenings. And
all over the US, in that Los Angeles area?
You can do wherever.
Okay.
We can also do it in London. We will be doing it in New York. We are discussing LA. There's also a rule that the voters cannot host these screenings.
Gotcha.
The voters could host the screening in the shortlist time.
Gotcha.
Even in the shortlist, you do screenings, you do press, you do all of that. But you're literally every effort is targeted to the community of voters.
Yes.
Because only DocuBranch voters can vote in our category.
Yeah.
But when a nomination happens, it's like it's like the whole world.
Yeah.
Voters are spread around the world. The Academy has global voters.
So now the whole voting body across the world is going to vote on
all
the category.
departments, from
thousands of people.
Yes, from actors to branch members of costume, hair, makeup, animation, producers, directors, everyone.
Yeah. And how many members are in India? About 40 odd members are in India, no? Academy members.
Yeah, around that number.
Yeah.
வழியில தான் வரணும் வேற இந்த மாதிரிலாம் வராது.
So we put out press releases, not like screening press releases, but we do a lot of interviews.
For your consideration, basically.
For your consideration, we do that.
Yeah.
Then there is, everything from social media to hoardings to in LA. And there are films who are putting hoardings up. And then of course, there is newspaper ads, there are panel discussions.
Yeah.
There is panels that happen for all the trade media.
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Variety, and more coverage. So this journey is about as much press, as much conversation we can have around the film, because there are so many films and there's so much information to process.
Yeah.
So how do you stand out? How do you, it's marketing and press, and getting into more and more, like LA Times, New York Times, getting more and more people to cover, talk about the film, and hopefully like it. And social media, of course, goes a long way.
Yeah, which is what I'm hoping to help this film with, because I really love this film. Obviously, the interest is at an all-time
I
high.
don't think
People are
they-
flocking.
Yeah. I don't think they really understand the extent of what the Oscars is, but we're slowly trying to explain to them. All they know is they're just overwhelmed with happiness about how their story's been able to touch people, and they know that it's gone places because thousands of people want to interview them.
Yeah.
And they've been doing a whole bunch of interviews. So I think that's very
So
special
sweet.
for them.
That's really sweet. Have you reached out to the Indian community over there? Because
Yes.
बहुत सारे Indian rep है इस साल Oscars में. It's like our highly most represented year
Actually,
ever.
We actually, I leave in 5 days, and immediately we have an Oscar luncheon for the nominees. So I'm going to meet everybody. I'm going to meet the nominees there. I'm
fun.
excited to meet the RRR team and All That Breathes team.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so good. You know, this is
Yeah.
literally diversity at its best.
Yeah.
You know, here is a Telugu film. We are a Tamil Katnayakan film.
Yeah.
And then there's a Hindi with All That Breathes.
Yeah.
And this is just
Delhi film, yeah.
this is an example of who we are. You know, we are many cultures, many languages put together. It's not just one language. It's not
Yeah.
Bollywood.
It's not
definitely,
Bollywood, yeah.
You know, and this is
Rajamouli
the-
also said this is not Bollywood. This
yeah,
is the Indian cinema.
I mean, I've been saying that for years, and this is the best way of explaining that here is a Telugu film
Yeah.
with the biggest canvas.
Yeah.
You know, and here is a Tamil film, an intimate, small.
The Elephant Whisperers.
Yeah, our little
Yeah.
documentary, short documentary, and of course All That Breathes. So this is like, it's amazing to have colleagues. It's amazing to have people from India
Yeah.
do this, share notes, you know, and and immediately when I go, there's the Oscar lunch on
Lovely.
the
You
nominees.
also
so
meet
of course,
Rajamouli and NTR and Ramcharan.
Yes.
How lovely.
if they're there, but I'm sure.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
एक बहुत बड़ी कैटेगरी में RRR को नॉमिनेशन मिली है. Best original song is a huge deal.
Natu
Huge
Natu.
deal.
I'll do Natu Natu with them. I'm learning the step.
You are?
Yeah.
I would pay money to watch Guneet do Natu Natu. But this time you'll have a little table.
Yes.
With the
Yes, we'll be on the nominee table.
You will be there, and your co-producer Achin will be there.
Yes, Achin is my plus one.
And then Kartiki will be there.
Yes.
And some people from Netflix will be at your at your table.
And of course, the crew is also coming.
Yeah.
A lot of crew is coming. My husband is coming, Sunny. And yeah, we're excited to be there with our contingent.
Lovely.
I just really want to say that nomination is to be celebrated.
Yes.
Winning is in none of our hands.
Yes.
But let's see. I
No,
mean,
absolutely.
I hope we make our country proud, but we're already making our country
The
proud.
country is
with the-
already very proud. All right, Amitabh Bachchan is very proud of you. Mane, the country is very
He's
proud
very
of you.
kind.
Here's hoping that Netflix is going to let you create one bonus feature to go along with the film on their platform as soon as The Elephant Whisperers ends. It, goes directly into the next one. So in the 5 seconds, it goes to a bonus feature where we might get to see more of Raghu and more of Amu and Bomman and Bellie. Thank you for your time today, Kartiki. Like I've been telling everybody who I've been talking to, we're all rooting for you. We're going to wake up in the morning, watch the show live. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Congratulations and
so
best
much.
of luck.
Thank you so much, Charita. Lovely talking.
To more and beyond. Very proud of you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here and share this experience, and I hope we continue talking more about the experience and then what happens after.
Thank you, guys. This is Guneet Monga, Oscar-nominated producer. I'm Sucharita. I don't have any major awards yet, but hopefully soon. Talk soon. Bye.